Stay here for a tutorial using matte and shimmer duo eyeshadows.
Hi, Karen from 50 is the New 50 blog, Shimmer and Matte Duos. And I've put together a really fun palette with three shimmer shades and 3 matte shades that all can work together, but I'm gonna do them in these duos here, but you sure could cross over and mix and match as you want to. So I want to talk about making sure that you always prep your eyes before you do your eyeshadow. A couple different ways you can do that. So you can prep your eyelids with either a eyeshadow primer, like this one here. This is from Urban Decay, and I'll put the link in this later if you want it. And even after I use an eyeshadow primer like this on my eyelids, I always also use a little bit of translucent setting powder over my lids, just to give it a little extra setting. This really helps if you have oily eyes, or if you find that your eyes have a little bit more texture to the lid and you see them creasing. This is going to help a lot, okay? The second thing you could do is prime your lid with your highlight shade, and then make sure also that you always go back over that highlight shade with some translucent setting powder. Just tap a bit on. Doesn't need to be a lot. It just needs to be the translucent, like this one here, which is the Vanilla Dust. Okay, so let me tell you what shades we're going to be using. Is Lullaby, which is a matte shade, and it looks really pretty with this shimmer shade called Gigi, G-I-G-I. Then this duo is Cafe and Stardust, okay? So matte shade, shimmer, matte shade, shimmer. And the third one is the matte shade called Claire. And it looks kind of more rusty orange on the website, but it's actually a little bit more of a corally pink. Really pretty color with Sis, S-I-S, which is a shimmer shade. So I will go ahead and get started, and I'm going to share some tips on how easy it is to do these duos. All right, so I think the first one I'll do is the one right up here on top. So we're going to start with the Lullaby and Gigi. So go ahead and make sure that you have a nice eyeshadow brush. This is the Eyeshadow Brush. Yeah, very, very unique name. But what we want to do first is we're going to put down, I'm just going to do this eye, we're going to put down a shade of the matte. So go ahead and swirl this in and then tap off that excess. Leaving your eye open, we're going to start on the outside, right in that little pocket there, and bring this in the crease, but also relax your eye a bit. Reload the brush and put a little deepening right along the brow bone and even pulling it up. So what we want to do here is just put this nice matte shade, which is kind of going to be like our base shade, even though we're not putting it all the way across our eyelid. So depending on how deep of a color you want, you can keep building the color by applying more, or you can just continue to blend out to get it to be a little less intense of a shade. But isn't that pretty? So that's called Lullaby. It's really a pretty kind of mauve-y plum shade, and it's the matte shade. So check this out. How easy is this going to be? So what we're going to do next is we're going to take the Gigi, which is a shimmer shade, and we're going to apply it with our finger. Really technical here. So go ahead and just rub into that Gigi shade and pick some of that shimmer up, and then start right in the center of your eye, and we're going to pull it out towards the corner. You can add some more. Just rub that right across the center of your eye towards the corner. I don't know if you guys can see that there. And then depending on how much of the shimmer you want, that's pretty much how easy that is. I like to not put too much shimmer on the really inner part of my eye where I have a little bit more texture, but just a very simple duo. A matte shade in the crease and up on the brow bone, and then Gigi just right in the center. And since it's not too light and bright of a shimmer shade, it's really not going to accentuate fine lines or any texture that you have in your lids. So that's a nice tip, is if you want to try some shimmer shades, stay away maybe from some of the really light pearly ones, and try some of the more darker or mid-tone shimmer shades and give them a try. Okay, so that was pretty darn fast, right? Super easy, super easy. Okay. So over here on this eye, we're going to switch over and we'll do this combination. So this is Claire, which is also a matte shade. I don't know, get you all confused here and topsy-turvy. So we're going to use this matte shade, and we're going to kind of do the same concept, but instead of applying it with a brush, you can actually take and just apply these with your finger. Make it really even simpler. Just take a little bit. Remember, they're very pigmented, so we don't want to gouge into them. But same thing, we're just going to take and rub this right in the crease, the outer corner. I mean, how easy is this? Listen, nobody said I was a professional trained makeup artist. We're using our fingers here. Why not? Because that's what's so great about makeup, is that we should all be able to feel like we can be makeup artists and play with our makeup and have fun with it. So really easily just kind of blend that in the crease. You can then take and use your finger, just lighten up on your hand and just lightly kind of feather that up onto the brow bone. So that is Claire, really, really pretty shimmer shade. So now the opposite, we're gonna actually apply the shimmer with a brush. But since this is a lighter shimmer shade, we're gonna use a little bit of setting spray. We're gonna dampen this brush. This is called the multitasker. It's got a nice flat end. Works great for applying lip color and also for applying shimmer shades or even shadow. So we're gonna take, I just use the lid and spray just a little bit of my setting spray right in the lid. Take your matte multitasker brush, the flat end, and lightly get it wet. We're not gonna soak this. We don't want it dripping wet. We just wanna tap it in, and then go ahead and tap it right into that shimmer shade. And again, this one's called Sis. And so we're just gonna load that brush up. Okay, so we get a good amount on there. And then right here in the center, I want you to just take and press it right on the center of your lid. So sometimes some of these shimmer shades need a little extra. The setting spray really kind of helps intensify them, and it also helps to set that shimmer. So if you're worried about maybe some of these shades kind of falling out or falling down, that'll help soften and set that shimmer shade. So again, as much as you want, I want it a little bit more intense, so I'm going to add some more by pressing that shimmer shade right across my lid. You can also take just a little bit and put some up here on the high part of your brow bone. It's gonna be very subtle, but you can take just a bit underneath your brow so it just catches the light just right up there. All right, so super easy, okay? This side here, we did the Lullaby with the Gigi, which is these two right here. Tell me what you think. And then we just did the Claire with the Sis. So even though they're shimmer combinations with matte shades, they're not too over the top, and they're not going to give you a lot of creasing or accentuate any texture in your eyes. They really don't. Okay, so now, oh, thank you. So now what we're going to do is let's do the third set. So I wish I had a third eye or somebody with me, but I'm just gonna wipe this one off gently here, just the best we can, and then I'll just re-prep my eye. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of my cleansing wipe. Okay, so as you can see, my eyelid, even though it's red the redness is pretty much from me touching it and kind of rubbing on it, you know, all the blood kind of comes to the surface here. But I really do have very purpley discolored eyelids, like a lot of us do. So let's go ahead and set and prep and prime our eyelid. We're gonna go ahead and make it quick and easy. We'll use the eyeshadow primer here from Urban Decay, and it comes with a little wand, kind of like a little sponge wand. We'll just take and tap it. Make sure you go all the way up to your brow. Okay. And then I just like to take my finger and gently just tap that out. And then after we do that, just get it all the way tapped up. I'm gonna put some in the corner of your eye. Okay, then we're going to, so you can kind of see it's just a very sheer, it doesn't really have a lot of color to it, but then we're gonna set one more time over the primer with a little bit of our translucent setting powder. So hi gals, as you hop on, please say hi. We're doing Shimmer and Matte Duo eyeshadow tutorial, and I've created a really fun little palette. We're gonna do eyeshadows every Tuesday. And right now I'm just taking some translucent setting powder and going right over the top of my eyelid primer. Okay, so the third duo that we're gonna do is this one right here in the middle. And this is a really pretty kind of taupey brown shade, not too dark. It's called Cafe. So kind of almost like a pretty cup of coffee with a little bit of creamer in it. And then this fun shade here, this is called, I think it's called Stardust. Yeah, Stardust. So this is really, really fun. So let's go ahead and go back to our brush and pick up one of our eyeshadow brushes. And this one here had a little bit of, I think the Lullaby on it. So what you can do is always get yourself one of these cleaning tiles. These are so great for your eyeshadows. They're just a little, they're magnetic, so they drop right into your palettes. They're just like a little foamy. You don't get it wet. You just let them be dry, and they'll pull off the pigment off your brush. So that pulls off any excess pigment. So then you can go into different shades and not worry about contaminating your eyeshadows or kind of mixing the colors. So let's pick up again a little bit of the matte shade first, which is Cafe. Tap off that excess. And this is my more hooded eye. I have to like relax it, but you can kind of see this one's a little bit more hooded. So what we're gonna do is, so lift up your eye a bit so that you get right in that pocket. And first we'll build the color in the crease, pulling it over. Let's have it be a bit darker on the outside here. Okay. And then pull it in so it's a little bit lighter on the inside. And then I want you to reload that brush a bit, and we're gonna pull some of it now up so that when your eye is relaxed, we actually can see some of that pretty color. So right here. And use this brush, this eyeshadow brush. You can use it like in a little circular motion to blend. You can pull it across this way, kind of that windshield wiper a bit. Just being careful that we don't pull our eyeshadow out too far or too down, so because we don't want to pull our eye down. Okay, so isn't that a pretty taupey color? Very pretty for night, really intense, kind of warms up the eye. And then we're going to take, we'll just use our finger again with the Stardust. So take a finger and press a little bit into that shimmer shade. Now this time I'm gonna go all the way across the lid. We're gonna do a little bit more of a nighttime look. Okay, because this is just such a gorgeous shade. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a antique gold shimmer, kind of a, it's a cooler tone, but isn't that just so pretty? So that is just a really fun eyeshadow look. And you can then, if you want to, I'm going to show you another little thing. You love Stardust. Yeah, isn't that just so pretty? It's almost velvety. It feels, the Seint shimmer shades almost feel like a velvety cream. Even though they're powders, they feel so velvety and rich. So what I'm going to do is take that same brush that I'd used before, and I'm going to kind of just swirl it in a little bit of setting spray again. There's not much in here. I mean, it's not even enough to drip out. I just had squirted a little bit in there. So the brush is just damp. And what you can do also to make sure that your eyeshadow lasts throughout the day, or if you're going to be going out in the evening, is just take that flat brush and just lightly press. You don't want to rub off any makeup, but just lightly press a bit and just kind of set those powders. You can even do it over here on this side. And sometimes I like to even just take a little bit and just set right underneath my mascara. So use your setting spray. You can use it in different ways. You can use it to intensify an eyeshadow. You can use it to create a liner. So we could do that as well for like this eye here that's more of the nighttime eyeshadow look. We can actually take the other end of the multitasker brush that's a little bit finer. And again, we can just swirl it around just to get it damp. There's barely any setting spray in here, okay? And then let's take a little bit of that Cafe color, and we'll just create a little bit of a liner with it. So we can go right underneath the outside lower lashes from the outside, about 2/3 of the way in. Okay, just a bit right there, working that into those lashes. And that'll just also help kind of deepen and darken that shade and also make it almost like a liner. And so I like to hold my eye taut, and we'll put a little bit up on top, right over that shimmer shade, just to give a little extra pop to that evening eye, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this. I mean, this was really fast because these are so easy. Again, the colors, and I'll put them in later, but they are Lullaby and Gigi, Cafe and Stardust, and Claire and Sis. And then your cleaning tile, which is just so great to clean your eyeshadow brushes off when you're all done, just to get the excess pigment off of them, so that when you go to use them next in a different shade, you don't have to worry about them getting in a different color.